Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene. I am back with my Cheesy Mice rag quilt. If you're not familiar with this series, the playlist link is down below. And do remember that just because I'm using this mouse panel does not mean you have to. You can print out, oh, I don't have it with me, but you can go print out the grid for this and you can just put whatever you want in the squares. But I'm using this panel. I am going to have quilt kits for you guys, 5 total, assuming I can figure this out. I went to Martin's to pick out some fabrics and I wanted each square to be a different color or a different print. That was crazy. I wasted too much time with that. If I'm picking for a reason, doesn't work for me because I'm never happy with it. I'm better off to just, have a whole bunch of fabrics and put them together, which I do, but I don't have enough yardage for the quilt kits, so I had to go buy fabric that I would have enough to cut for you guys. So I ended up just going with 2 different prints, and, they're not my favorite, but I think they're going to work. This isn't even really the exact colors of this, but it goes together good enough for me. And it's not, I don't know what that print would be called, but to me it almost looks like little footprints or something. So I thought I'd go with that. That's for the front. And then for the back, we've got this happening. Just simple little squares, pretty much the same color. It's on the back anyway, so it doesn't matter. I don't know, maybe I'd like this for the front. I see, it's so hard to decide. That for the back? I think I'm going with this on the front. So I need to cut my squares apart, and I have to go look at my own instructions to see, because I think these are going to be trimmed a little bit. I can't remember. And I'm going to just start cutting fabric for my own personal kit. And I do think I will be using cotton batting. And let me just get started. I cut my squares. Do not do stuff with a pen in your hand. To me, it's the most dangerous thing to have around fabric, because I'll have it in my hand and then I'll move my hand. And I went and made a pen mark on one of my mouse blocks. I have to show you because this is going to go on eBay, and I want you to know. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's a little pen mark, and I'm leaving it. We're supposed to have a mistake in every quilt to make it our own, but I don't think that includes like drawing on it. It barely shows. It might come out in the wash. It's there. Okay, so these are 13.5 wide. I had to trim about, I don't know, a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch on each side. And then 14.5 this way, and these panels are just barely 14.5. So I just trimmed a tiny bit. Don't stress out too much over it because this is a rag quilt and we're going to be ragging all of this. That's right, though. I was thinking that my dotted line that shows doesn't matter because I was like, it'll get caught in the seam allowance, but there is no seam allowance. So I will trim that off just so, I'm looking to see if I have more, just so I don't have that little bit of black when I rag it. It wouldn't matter, but let me see. Where is everything? Why is everything always so far away from me? I'm just going to trim that off right there. Okay, now I can sleep better tonight. Oh, now I screwed that up. I hope this day goes better because it's not off to a good start. Now I'm going to cut some of this shit. I cut my 6 blocks for my B columns, and I wanted to say that when I said this looks like footprints, it doesn't look anything like footprints, but to me it looks a little bit like cat paw prints, I think is what I meant to say. That has nothing to do with mice unless a cat is going after the mice. I don't know. Just don't listen to what I say because it's just a bunch of nonsense. So I needed 6 blocks to go on the sides of my A column, and I did that. Now, if you are doing this at home, you might be able to get 2 blocks like this out of a fat quarter. If your fat quarter is at least 21 inches wide, you can do it because this needs to be 10.5 wide. You can get 2 out of 21 inches, and then these are 14.5 inches tall, and a fat quarter is at least 18 inches tall. So go check out your stash. Maybe you have some fat quarters. I need now, for the back, I need everything exactly like the front, only I'm not using mice on the back, so I need to cut those. I have my 6 blocks for my B columns. I have my 3 blocks for my A columns, and all the sizes are on my blog, and the link is down below, so go visit that, and then I won't have to bother telling you everything. Now, I think I said that I'd have quilt kits ready for this episode, but obviously I don't. So I will work on that. And now we are ready to start making sandwiches, but I need my batting. Ugh! This is quite daunting. This is a pretty big roll of batting that I don't really feel like dealing with, but I've had it for a while and I haven't dealt with it yet. It's time. It's time to deal. I'm going to be cutting squares the same sizes as my fabric blocks. Well, I shouldn't say squares. They're rectangles. I do know that. And I'm just cutting them the same size. I don't want to have to, you know, make an X or anything in the fabric to hold the batting, so I'm just going to sew and rag this batting. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. You can make your batting smaller and then just, you know, quilt in some way to keep the batting in place. I don't know exactly if I'm going to love it with this ragged. It won't fray, but it should roll. Anyway, let me just get started with this now. I think what I'm going to do to make cutting easier, I just cut a piece about 15 inches wide, so I knew it would be enough. I'm just going to put my block on here, and I'm just going to cut either scissors or the rotary cutter just to the edge of that. And I'm cutting 2 layers. And same here. I don't know. I think I like scissors better for this. Oh yes, I'm a scissor girl at heart. And I need just 6 of this width, and then I need just 3 for the center column. Lots of little leftovers for stuffing little tiny projects. Let me finish cutting my batting, and then I'm going to take you to the machine and we'll get started. I have everything cut and I am ready to start making my sandwiches. So this is a back piece, and I thought about having the back alternate, like this print and then the next one this print, but I am sticking to my guns. I want the back all just one color and the front all just one, you know, one print on both sides of the mice. The snipping will separate the blocks, and I just think, I don't know, I feel like that. So then I put a piece of batting here, and then I'm putting my front block here. So there's my sandwich. Obviously the fabrics are right sides out, and I need to make the one that's going to go below it. Don't worry about anything being uneven. It's getting snipped, so calm down. We're doing good. Now this is where I said I could have flipped this one this way just to make it different, but I want it this way. This is my top side. This is the side that will be ragged, the side with the mice. So I'm sewing in a column at a time. So I'm sewing this piece to this piece, but instead of doing this, we're doing a rag quilt. So we want to have this be sticking up. So I just take it and I pinch it like this. So if you want to make sure you're right, you have the top side of the quilt showing on both sides. But right now I'm going to go sew here with a 3/4 of an inch seam allowance at least. 3/4 to an inch. And I'm just going to sew right across. If you have a walking foot, feel free to use it. It really does make sense. I just never bother. And do you remember? Do you remember how I do this? I snip as I go. I have my little snippers right here. I'm just going to go ahead and snip I don't snip all the way close to the edge because sometimes it's easier to sew if I haven't snipped there first, but I'm coming in a good 1/2 inch. And I like to do 1/4 of an inch or less. And I just find that it's so much easier to just do this while I'm right here, get it done. I don't have to have that whole big quilt on my lap to snip it. I mean, of course, as we sew more things together, there's a little bit more snipping, like when we put columns together. But most of it is done as we go. Quilt as you go, snip as you go. Okay, if you happen to snip through your stitching line, just stitch again. That's all you need to do. And now I'm going to open this up, and this is what we have. I know I'm like in a weird time of the day with lighting, so I don't know what the best setting is. And there we go. Now I'm just going to add the next piece. I'm making the column, so I'm working the long way. Here's my next sandwich. Back side, front side. I want my back sides touching. So it's going like that. See? Back side, back side. And snip as I go. There, this column is done. Now I actually made the other column first, and I did such a terrible job that I thought I would show you the second attempt on camera. What I didn't do is I didn't trim the cotton batting enough, and it was like really sticking out like way above the fabric. And I don't know if I'm just going to leave it like that or trim some of that. I think I'm just going to leave it. It's time to do the mouse blocks. There's a blue, a green, and a blue, so I'm just putting the green one in the center. So here's the blue I'm using on top, and here's the green. I want to make sure that everything's going in the right direction. I know you can't really see. I don't know why I have such a weird camera angle, but I do. But I'm looking at it, and this is correct, this is correct. I'm going to just pinch right here because I want my backs touching. And this is the line I'm going to sew. The line that I pinched. Here, matched up all right. Pretty good. Pretty good is good enough. I'm just going to sew here. I suddenly had a heart attack thinking I was doing this wrong. But no, I did it right. Okay, snipping time. And I came out a little bit crooked on this side, so I'm just going to trim that a tiny bit. And no one but you will know. Now, I don't want to screw up, so I'm looking at it the right way, facing me. I need the blue at the bottom of this guy. I want them to both be facing, you know, in the right direction. And I'm going to pinch. And this is my line to sew on. It's hard with a tripod, like right next to me. I will manage. It freaks me out to see a sideways mouse. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? But no, this is right. Okay, snipping. Snip as I go. You can pay a lot for these, or you can just go to the tool department. I paid like $2 for these, and they work great. You just want a spring action snipper. See the little spring, and it opens the scissors up for you. Oh my goodness, we're ready to put the columns together. Look at my 3 mouse blocks that you can't see at all, and terrible, terrible lighting settings. Why don't we just go ahead now and join the column. I just attached this whole column to the mouse column, and you're not going to see any of that because it was a living hell experience for me. Everything was going wrong, including my machine. I couldn't understand what was happening, but somewhere I had my thread. It just got caught on the machine somewhere. Oh my gosh, it was just awful. So I finished it, and I even snipped. I snipped as I went. This one too. I am just going to show you how I attached the column to the other side of the mouse blocks. All right, let's get this done, shall we? Oh my God. I'm going to take my other column, the only one I have left, and my mouse is here. I want that facing me. I want the back sides of these two columns facing. See, back to back, right? Like that. And then I'm going to be picking it up and just, you know, straightening it out, trying to make my intersections match somewhat. What I do is I match this intersection and then I go up. And if that's crooked, that's okay. That's all going to get snipped anyway. And then I'm just going to see, does it match the intersection here? Pretty damn good. Where are you? Where are you? Here. See, this matches, this matches. So that's all I need to know at this point. And I'm just going back up here. And I'm going to be sewing on this side. Let's see if this one goes better for me now that I have the thread situation under control. And I did discover, if you're not using a walking foot, because some of you don't have that, I find it works good if I, you know, kind of hold on to the fabric and help it along by pulling on it a little bit in the back. I'm not like stretching it. It's impossible to stretch with this many layers. But I'm holding, you know, both layers, I mean, all the layers, I should say, with this hand and just pulling a little bit like this. And I'm sure there are quilting police out there saying, you're doing it all wrong and you're teaching people the wrong way. Fuck a bunch of people. Oh yeah, when I get to this mess, I just kind of make the bottom stuff aim towards me, and then the top stuff aim toward the needle. And I kind of like just separate the snipped parts, and I try to go through a separated part. Can I redesign this and consider it done? No, we will finish. But not in this video. I have to snip this, and this is what we have so far. I can't show you anything from here. I'll show you on the other table. Let me snip and then I'll show you. This is what we have. It's actually very, very cute. But right now I'm not in love with it because I suffered too much. I will like it when it's done. I really wish we could call it quits, but I do want to go ahead and put the border on it. The next video will be the end. We're going to start by putting on the borders, and then I will be washing it and drying it and showing it to you in that video. And I do want to say, when you're snipping a lot of thickness like this, you want to check both sides because sometimes you're not catching the fabric on the underside, and you want to make sure you're catching the fabric. That is it. I don't know. Maybe I should show you that footage. I don't think so. I'm completely cutting it out because I don't want to relive it through the editing. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and we're going to get this wrapped up in the next episode, and then I'll have some kind of a quilt kit for you guys done, ready by then. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.